Hello class, welcome to e-learning session. Today we are going to learn chapter number 1 of history class 6. So open your book. Chapter number 1 is an introduction to the past. In this chapter we will know about what is history. So history is a chronicle account of the events that took place in the past. Learning history helps us understand the change and how the society we live in came to be. Knowing the past helps us understand the conditions of the present and therefore for future. It is a study of the past, especially for the society, events, people and issues problems of the past, and at the end our endeavor to understand them. So history is the pursuit common to all human societies. So next, why do we study history? So this is the main question. Why do we study history? Where is important? What is the necessary? Then studying history help us understand our origin and evolution as human beings. Okay, and here are some points like it tells us about the different types of cultures and civilization that excited, and and it tells us about the discoveries and inventions that took place due to events of history. It teaches us discriminate. Now studying history is important as it allows us to know our past, which is turn allows us to understand our present. Okay, so now this is the point, periodization of history. So what is the periodization of history? It was difficult to put all the past events of history in a chronicle sequence. Therefore, in order to make sense of the past and the articulate changes over time, history is divided into different periods: Indian history, medieval history and world history. So we will know one by one. Here you can see the table of history. So firstly, history. So there are three branches of history: ancient history, medieval history and modern. And again there are three branches of ancient history. So here you can see one branch, one. There are three branches. Again ancient history, there are three branches. Okay. So now we will know firstly what is prehistory. So children, here you can see the what is the prehistory. In this period, man did not lead a settled life and wandered from place to place. There are no written records of this time. Prehistory is the fact of the origin of human activities and civilization that took place thousands of years. That is called prehistory. So there are prehistory is divided into three parts: Stone Age, Bronze Age and Iron Age. So firstly we will know about the proto-history. What is proto-history? This period started when some written accounts were available in India. We have accepted that this period of history began when the people started producing cereals. Archaeological sources give us the valuable information about this period. Indus Valley civilization is an example of proto-history. So now again we will know about the history. History started after the invention of the writing. Written records of this period are available on rocks, pillars, copper plates, clay tablets, palm leaves, etc. It is the most valuable sources of information. So now time frame of history. AD and BC. This is a main two importance. AD means in AD stands for Anno Domini and BC stands for before the birth of Christ. This is the comes under the calendar. So now turn your page. In this page we will know about the geographical settlement. And before we will know about the one thing, a more recent system of the BCE, which sustained the before the Common Era and CE Common Era. It is a never way to the expressing the same period, but without the Christian reference. Geographical settlement. Now we will know about the, here you can see the picture of India map, and this is divided into geographical part. So civilization resulted as hunted gathered started to settle the practice agriculture. To settle in the certain place, you need to have the abundance of the food and other necessities for survival. For agriculture, you need fertile and arable land. So the geography near the banks was both fertile and rich with the flora, due to the which most of the early civilization developed near the river valley. In India, people lived along the banks of rivers Narmada for several hundred thousands years. So now we will know about some different things like the name India. Why we say name India? We often refers to our country as India and as well as Bharat. The word India is derived from Indus, which is known as the Sindhu in the Sanskrit language. This is the Sindhu is a river, holy river. Okay, the Greeks and Iranians who came to India via northwest about 2500 years ago denoted the country and people living beyond the Indus River as Hindus or Indos, and the lands of the east of the rivers was called India. And India is also known as Bharatvarsha after the Bharata travel mentioned the Rig Veda. Earliest composition are dated about 3500 years ago. Now sources of history. What is the sources of history? How can how how can know about the different types of things like Bharata, Indian rivers, etc. So all the materials which have a direct bearing or can be any assistance in the consulting the history of a particular period are called as historical resources. The sources give us information about the past. They also act the clues from the past to conduct history as a whole. The historians' sources can be broadly divided into two categories: literacy sources and archaeological sources. What is literary sources? Literary sources are obtained from the various texts and were composed in ancient India. Okay, and what is the archaeological sources? The study of ancient remains is called archaeology. Archaeologists excavated sites and objects buried in the earth. They also study the remains, the building made out the bricks and the stones, sculpture and paintings. They excavated to find tools, animals, bones, weapons, chests, grains, etc. Here you can see the picture of some written things in the plate. Okay. So now we will know about the details of this topic. And here the monuments, coins, artifacts and the inscriptions provides concrete the authority authentic evidence. Okay, the study of coins is known as the numismatic coins through the significant light on the economic structure of ancient India. For example, trade and commerce. The study of inscriptions is called epigraphy. They can be seen on pillars, rocks, slab, walls, and building and body of temple by studying them. And now artifact is something made of given shapes by the human, such as a tuka or a work of art. For example, stone tools, pottery, vessels, metal objects, jewelry, etc. On the other hand, historians are the people who study the past, and the word the sources who refer to the information found from the manuscripts, inscriptions, and seals. Archaeologists and the historians study the sources available to them and reconstructed the parts. These are sources of history. There are two sources of history: literary sources and archaeological sources. Whatever I read in this chapter, so now completed this chapter.